ladies. I hope you're having a good day. So today, what I wanted to share with you is that how to fit back into the pre-pregnancy the pants. We just really we wanted to have this done, but sometimes it's struggling. Some might not, which is awesome, but for me, it's really struggling. And I'm not necessarily getting back to pre-pregnancy pants, to be honest, but I know what I can help you to increase in the going back in that. But first, before you're gonna know, is that before we're gonna share with you, I want you to think about what is wrong with it. Because we forget about why it's coming from, and then that's really kind of more easy to understand if you know how did it happen. So when we're having a pregnancy, our body is gonna be trying to create a space for the baby, right? So that means that the pelvis is gonna be start to open it up. Like the pelvis is gonna be more open outside. So that means in the back of this, sorry. Back is gonna get in here. It's gonna be getting more wider. This is gonna be open. And in the back of the sacrum is around there's gonna be squishing off. And plus we're gonna walking like, carrying the baby. So we're gonna walking like this. So that means that the pelvis is gonna be opened up. So that means that the hip joint is need to adapt it to instead of standing straight like this, it's gonna be more turn outside. And so, do you remember you walked like you are penguin, So it's just gonna be the hip is turning around and walking around. And then again, this is gonna be this pelvis is gonna be wider. So when you touch around the pelvis area, so like you just holding the pelvis, you might feel it's a little wider. Maybe not, but maybe if you're getting used to it too long, it's gonna be, like me for the postpartum 3, 5, 6 years, you just don't remember how it was. But pelvis itself is going to be wider and it cannot going back to moving back easily. Right after you do that, right after the postpartum, it's much easier because we still have a hormone to loosen it up, like a more loosened hormone. So it's gonna become more easier to not to manipulate and correcting back into the space, but if you kind of like didn't have a time because of running around and taking care of the baby, and also like that you have already kids, then it's just so much crap that you need to deal with. So in my struggle, so in that case, instead of forcing yourself to going back, just kind of naturally bring it back, which you can do it with teeny tiny tip for your body. But it might take a long time because it depends on how long you've been stuck in that position. You need to have a little lubricating your system to moving back forward. And also, but it's not going to be only that quick changes because our body is going to be adapt all the time. So if hip is not that good in position, the hip joint is going to be turning around. So we need to taking care of this as well. But that's going to connect into the knee and ankle and the foot. So to be honest, it's not going to be one fit. But if someone just only the pelvis is issue, it's going to be great. And then also, the other way around. If pelvis is going to be slowly shifting towards more turning back into the good position and like getting more here wider by getting narrower, the whole muscle activation is going to change. So it's going to give you a little kickstart, re-educating your system more easily to move in the straight. Plus, like a hip might want to going back easier to go into the front instead of going back to the external rotation, like a rotating out, coming back a bit more easier because the pelvis started moving forward. And as pelvis is moving forward, that means that you really changing the muscle activation as well. So it's just a little more like a domino effect. And then could be the kickstart for you to do it. You can very easy to do it at home, even when you're standing. You might feel a little, no, you don't look that weird, maybe teeny tiny bit, but it's gonna give you like a little easy kickstart. So you're gonna re-stimulate your body to moving back to the way you want it to be. But again, this is not going to be a quick fix, but so easy, you're gonna feel the difference. Seriously. So anyway, so let's do it. So before we move on, what I want you to do is I want you to see how is your pelvis, how you feel with your pelvis, okay? So the pelvis is here, touching, and the back of the sacrum, I want you to touch. So just observe your body really well. And then, of course, unfortunately, like I said, it's all connected. So some is gonna be, we try to use the body this way. So just keeping the wider hip, because that's how our body is more re-educated by that way, while the pregnancy and afterwards we didn't care. So to re-educating again might gonna take time. So you might feel a little better, but if you don't do it again, you might gonna come back easily. But that's really normal because our body is gonna be adapting to do it, and we are educated that way, right? So now we need to re-educate it. But first, before, I want to check where is it pelvis height, and then see the difference in right and left, and also check in the back of around the sacrum. How do you feel? And like think about the this is a thumb is in the back, and you don't need to know everything, but just kind of see how you feel on the surface of the finger and the palm area. And then bony part is the waist. Bony parts, I feel my right side's gonna be more going like this, but left side, this is the front part. Left side's gonna be a bit more wider. So I feel like the left is more twisted that way. And but also I want you to know is that you don't need to be perfect, because we really cannot be perfect, because we did the injury a long time ago. You have given a birth and you have a picking up stuff and you're sitting or you're moving around. The lifestyle is really different. So that's your uniqueness. So create your own standard, okay? So now you check how it is. Okay, so my left is a little more, I feel like this is more like this. More, yeah, in a way, yeah. And if this is the back, this is the front. And it doesn't need to be certain way, just kind of touch and you feel it. Don't worry about too much to be perfection. And then there's again that there's no one fit all the structure. So now my knee is gonna be left, and I keep telling you. So what I want to do is just grab the side of the pants, like pants. I want to just only one side you feel a bit more crook, like a little wider. It can be both, but I still want you to try one side first. So for me, I have a left side, it's gonna be a little bit wider, so that on the next to the pelvis, I want you to grab the pants like this, squeeze like this, yeah, like this. And then what I want you to do is this pants is gonna go teeny tiny bit moving forward. So there's you have a pelvis, and you just kind of like this is a pelvis, mine's wider here like this, right? So what I want to do is gonna be grabbing the clothes, or even the underwear is okay. Just kind of sliding down from back to front. Not only going to try to go into hold on one second. Not going that way. What I want to go to make it straight. So just kind of sliding like this. If you want, you can just only slide in straight like this. But I kind of try to do the teeny tiny bit more stretch. So I'm gonna grab the pants and moving forward. So from the side, amount of movement is gonna be little tiny bit, not like this. Just more like a sliding back and forth. And on the same thing, I want to do the same thing on the other side. So what I often do is just a little weird maybe, but grab it next to the pelvis. You can put the finger into the pants or like a hook that the belt hook. Just put the finger in it, then stabilize it. And then, hold on, you can see that well. So like this. And then you're gonna go like this at the same time. And make sure, ideally, to make you the lower back is gonna be loosened up, lying down your back, and eventually to try to do this. And a little tiny, just front and back. And then relax. And afterwards, you're just gonna touch like this. And see how you feel. Do you feel the difference? You might not see it, but me, I feel a bit more. It was more like this, but became teeny tiny bit there. And this is just only that sometimes that some people who has a wider hip, like you cannot put it back into the wider hip a little bit, then you might have a bit of the back of the pain, like lower back pain or SI joint pain. But same thing, if you have that, you just kind of like sliding the clothes side to side, but not the side to side, front and back for both sides, like a diagonal, going like that way. So you have pants or underwear or like clothes is just moving around. That is kind of helping that the fascia is going to be sliding up. Often that the fascia, that whoever has a lower back pain, is often just these whole tissues, many tissues around there is going to be more adhesion, so it doesn't slightly moving around. So that is going to creating that the less flow for that the lymph, artery, and then liquid, whatever we have is there, it doesn't move. So that's why when you try to move it, in a way it's drying out. So just when you try to moving around, you're going to have a stretching feeling, so you have a pain. So gently, just don't push too much, grab the pants and sideways to way. So like push, just more gentle, grab it. You might need a little power to be stabilized for yourself. But front and back movement a really teeny tiny bit, as if you just sliding the clothes over your back of the pelvis, and just kind of directions going to front part. And then try again, just touching the back a little bit and hold it. Yeah, so my left is slowly more moving more like wider before, but it's going to be more like this. And it's going to be easier to lift the leg as well. So it's teeny tiny thing, but this is going to help in you to kind of more releasing the tension around the fascia in the back, and then so decreasing the adhesion, so you can just smoothly moving around. So each part of the muscle, tendon, and then bony structure is going to be more easier to create. That's creating a space for the all organs or all thing whatever we have in this area. So anything, so muscle, fascia, the artery, nerve, lymph, and the bone as well. These things going to be ligament as well. So creating a space is going to be easy to moving around and kind of stimulating the freeness. Then just kind of start moving around. Then your body start to learning how to move that way. Does it make sense? It's just a little bit too much maybe, but it's really fun. Anyway, this thing is gonna be not gonna be quick fix, but just gonna really re-educating your body to going back to that instead the narrow, the wider to narrow with your little tiny guidance. Don't push too hard because that is creating more torsion than anything. The key is a little tiny creation that the movement in all the whole muscle and the whole tissues and giving the space to moving around. And then just pulling that way, just giving the guidance to the pelvis to moving forward instead of going outside. Yeah, it might be a little too much for today, but this is really going to help you. And it's really changing the way you might feel your feet, the knees gonna easier to moving around. Not only getting easy to moving around and lighter, but that means your flow is much better. You can reconnections or interconnection between the feet, whole muscle to the pelvis area, even the lower back is gonna change. And slowly with this teeny tiny stimulation for pelvis positioning, just creating the teeny tiny, again, maybe you don't even feel it, but creating the different the muscle activation and the connection for the kinetic chain. So I hope you're gonna have a good time. Maybe I talk a lot this time and it's just a little too complicated, but bottom line, just creating the space and gentle to yourself and moving the muscle and sliding the toilet tonight. Sliding clothes or underwear and just moving towards the way you want to go. And little and gentle and a little movement is okay. And you can do this and when you're sleeping and when you're lying down, anytime is okay. And then just maybe when you're sitting, you might want to just create a different type of the pelvic positioning. So maybe ideally it's better being when you're on lying down position, so you don't have that much of a resistance toward from the gravity. Anyway, I hope you're gonna have a little tip to taking care of your body, and then that you might not gonna have a time, but that's why I just want to try to do something very simple but easy and gentle to yourself to taking care of your body. And a little tiny click like this, it's just gonna be stimulating different type of muscle activation to support you much better. And then just say, yeah, we don't need to too much stress in our life anymore. We just need to re-unwinding your body and re-educate it teeny tiny bit, not pushing too much. And our bodies have enough to do, function well, to do what we wanted to do. That's what our body can do it. So I hope this is gonna help you, and this gonna let me know if you feel any changes. You might feel lighter. You don't have you might feel like a less pain in the lower back and then hip joint. That could happen too. So you never know. So I hope you're gonna enjoy this video, and please drop me a line if you have a question. And also, if you have any changes you notice, please share with me so I can, I can share a bit more different things and then try to share something what you really wanted to focus on.